Hey YouTube, how's everything going? I know it has been a minute since I have made a video. Well, actually I did put a video on today, about a minute 42 second video on the eclipse that we had April of this past year. So that is up there. But today I wanted to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a couple months now, and I'm not gonna call it a toy, even though some people might look at what I'm about to do a little review on as a toy. The most difficult part was finding a spot where I would not be interrupted and where it wouldn't be too loud and no cars going by, so I can introduce you to what I'm looking at right now. And this is my 2013 Fiat Abarth. I want to tell you a little bit about a story about this car, how I got it, and tell you a little bit about it. It is the most unique vehicle that I have ever owned in my 54 years of life. I would definitely say it is the the funnest car that you could drive. It's not the fastest. It is made by Fiat, but this is the Abarth model of the Fiat, which is their sports, I guess we'll call it the sportier model. As you can see, the first thing you'll notice on this vehicle is it does have scorpions all over the place, all kinds of scorpion badges as well as my Raiders. Now I will admit, this badge right here, the scorpion, I had that custom made and put on the front after I had the hood covered. So anyway, a little bit of story about the Fiat Abarth, the 2013. So the story behind the vehicle is this car was actually, the Fiats have been going on, have been in existence for I'm not going to say hundreds of years, but back in the 40s and 50s, Italian made cars. There was a guy, his name was Abarth. That was not his original name, I do know that. And he moved to Italy, and he was the first person to ever actually tune vehicles. He modified, he would get these little Fiats, because the Fiats are known as being very slow. So he would take the Fiats and he would tune them, he would modify them. And eventually, as time went by, Fiat heard about what he was doing, and since this is all in Italy, he actually moved his base of operations to Turin, where Fiat is located. And they made a deal, and the deal was that they would give him so many Fiats, he would tune them, but with a condition that he would put his name, his logo on the vehicle, which again is the Abarth, the Fiat Abarth. The scorpion comes from, it was his astrological sign, and that's where we get the scorpion from, the Fiat Abarth. Now, take a look at the inside. This car, even though you look at it and you're like, man, that's a tiny car. Actually, when you get inside, man, this car is not that small. For me, I'm 5'11". Man, this car, I have plenty of headroom. This car is a convertible, by the way. Passenger, there's plenty of room. Now, I will say, the back seat has a little, there's not much to be desired back there, but I have, since I've had this vehicle, I have had 3 passengers in the car. They were not the most comfortable. The AC was on, or the windows have to be down, but it can be done. I'll show you. So here I am, I'm sitting in the back seat of the car. I have a backpack there, and I'm going to adjust the front seat in the driving position. So yeah, not much leg room, but for a short drive, it's completely manageable. Now, the one thing I'm thinking about right now is why did I pick such a hot day to come out and do this review? But anyway, yeah, this is the very small back seat of the Fiat Abarth. Now, one thing I do love about this car is how they have matched the interior color with, and yeah guys, I know I love Apple, and this is a 500. It's a 500C. C stands for for convertible, but they do have, you know, the red that matches the outside. Now, one thing I will say about this car, about the Fiats, okay, the interior, and if you ever see another review on this car, one thing that you're gonna hear every single person say is that the interior, the doors, the handles, they do feel kind of cheap. They do feel kind of flimsy. This car has, I think it's 131,000 miles. I'm gonna take it for a drive here in a minute and you'll see that. But overall, I'm happy with it. Now, let me be a little bit serious here, because maybe I give you guys a warning, okay? I bought this vehicle off of Facebook Marketplace. And the guy who sold me this vehicle, I don't want to say any names, Ivan, if you ever watch this video, you gotta be careful when you buy a vehicle on Marketplace on Facebook, because people will lie. The guy who sold me this vehicle told me that it was in excellent condition, there were no problems, and he was lying through his teeth. When I saw the car, and I know that these cars they're very rare to find, I instead of getting it checked out by my mechanic, I got kind of impulsive. I bought it, and for about the first month and a half, I was afraid this vehicle was going to turn into a money pit. But thank God, the hemorrhaging has stopped. The vehicle it's in 100% right now. It drives great, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go over. We're going to drive around Stanley Draper Lake, and the handling on this thing, I just freaking love it. The stereo is, if you're looking at the stereo, that is third market stereo. That is not the original stereo. The original stereo was absolutely horrible. It does have this button right here, which I use every single time that I go anywhere, and that is the sport button. That gives it a lot more horsepower, more torque. This car does have 160 horsepower and 170 foot-power of torque. I believe that's what you call it. So it will get up and go, especially when it is in sports mode. So yeah, this is the Fiat 500C Abarth, and I think it's time to take it for a drive. Alright, so guys, to be clear, this car does have air conditioner, and you see my camera up here. I'm using my headband. Hopefully this can get you a view of what I'm seeing. I rarely turn my AC on, even though it works, because I just love the sound of the exhaust. We're gonna jump on the interstate, take a sound, take a listen. Now the vehicle weighs about 2,500 pounds. Very light car. Wheelbase, very short. But with 160 horsepower, 170 foot-pound of torque, it makes this car just so fun to drive. The handling, going through the curves, it's a blast. This is Stanley Draper Lake. I think a few years ago, when I had the Camaro, I came out here, I did a video. It's on my YouTube channel as well. And I'll actually say, this vehicle, I enjoy driving this car. Yeah, it's not as fast as the Camaro, but I enjoy driving this car more than I do that 2019 Camaro. It just handles better. It's just a more fun vehicle to drive. And yeah, the Fiat Abarth. Five-speed manual transmission. They do make these in automatic. Believe it or not, the automatics are actually cheaper than the manuals, which is kind of backwards to how you normally would think of cars. Normally automatic cars are the more expensive ones. The automatic and the Abarths are not very sought after. More information about this car. Man, if you want a car that is economical, city driving, I get between 33 to 35 miles to the gallon. That's like my daily, just, you know, stopping and starting, going through the city, stop signs, stop lights. On the highway, however, I've gotten up to 45 miles to the gallon on this car. As you can see right now, I don't know if you can see the dash, but here on the left side is my gas gauge. I still not even down a quarter of a tank, and I have driven 101 miles since my last fill up. So this is, I guess, my official review of my 2013 Fiat 500C Abarth. I will say, if you think about getting one, they're not that expensive. They stopped importing them into the United States, I believe, in 2018. So it's really easy to find 2012, 13, 14s. When you 15, 16, 17s are much harder to find. But for a 2013 with the amount of miles that this one has in not such great condition, you're going to probably pay about $4,000, $4,500. I've seen them in really superb condition as high as $10,000 to $12,000. The plus, I think the biggest plus about this vehicle is it's very economical. Another thing that I would say, and this I would stress this, do not buy this car if you do not have a mechanic that you trust. I've been blessed. I have 2 mechanics that can work on this car, and the cost on working on this car is a little bit more. The parts are a little bit more than your average vehicle. So the cons can be, I guess, they're not as reliable as you would say a Honda or a Toyota. The pro is they're a whole lot more fun to drive. They're very economical, and they just, in my opinion, they just look so damn cool. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna get this video up sometime soon. Thank you for watching, guys. For more content like this, and hopefully soon I'm gonna get back on the kayaks and do some more kayaking out there with Cal Chando. But anyway, please feel free to like and subscribe. I am a school teacher that am planning to retire pretty soon. I would love to make my livelihood off of YouTube, but I need at least 1,000 subscribers. So guys, please hit that subscribe button, all right? And I will see you guys on the next video.